Super cool. Hello and welcome, Pascal Magne. So you have been my first guest in my first live interview. It was last June. So almost a
Yes.
year ago. It's crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
And
Time.
now we are not talking about one of your famous publications. We are not talking about your upcoming book. We're talking about something that, following you over the last 2 years, a little bit on social media, I thought we need to discuss, and especially to give some advice also our younger colleagues, how they should move themselves, what they should take care of when being active on social media, because I have noticed that also you have been more active on social media. But after the live interview, I will give you some personal advice what you could do better.
Yes, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. That's why when you asked me about this topic, I was like, okay, I'm not a big specialist, so there's a lot of room for improvement in my social media. And yeah, so I'm ready to try to answer your questions, even though, again, it's not my topic of expertise. It's actually rather your topic of expertise.
Yeah, but it was interesting. I was really following all the dentists out there that I know, how
Mm-hmm.
they move on social media, what they're doing, what they're not doing, and we will
Uh-huh.
come to the different topics in a minute.
Okay.
But let's jump into the first question. You're also more active on social media. So my first
Mm-hmm.
question: how do you use these channels? So I have seen you're on Facebook and Instagram. These are
Mm-hmm.
your two
Yes.
main
Yeah.
your
So
two main channels. So tell me a little bit more.
yeah, so it's very good that you're asking me this question, because actually I'm going to answer by asking you the question. Did you see a difference in the way I use Facebook versus, for instance, Instagram? What do you think is the difference in my two accounts?
So the difference I can tell you, and
Uh-huh.
I can also just tell you one mistake you are making. One mistake that you make, that everybody out there is making, is mixing too much private things and
Mm-hmm.
business things in one account. So my
Uh-huh.
first advice, Pascal, I was active on social media more than 10 years ago when everything started.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the most famous Twitter in Switzerland. So I started every morning, Buongiorno Twitteristi.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I got lost. I got lost in this social media world because I was
Mm-hmm.
not able to separate the real
Right.
life from this virtual life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And this
Mm-hmm.
is from my point of view, the biggest danger today. And
Right.
analyzing in this last 1.5 years, also you and your activities on social media, my first advice is to really separate private and business.
Right. So
And
that's a very interesting advice. And um, actually one that I may not entirely agree with, but okay, again, that's what I'm telling you. I'm not a social media expert, right? So my question was, did you notice that my Facebook account, for instance, is a little bit more, by the way, my Facebook account, I control who is following me, right? Instagram, I don't, right?
yeah,
So my Facebook account is only friends and people that and some posts are public and some posts are not. So Facebook for me is a little bit more for the private, even though I would link some Instagram posts to my Facebook account, but it's more private and my Instagram is more professional. So I don't know if you notice that, but that's what I'm doing. So because on Instagram is basically people following you and you following people, again, I started very late on Instagram and I decided I was going to use it mainly for professional things. Now, given the success that I had on my Instagram account, I decided to include some more non-dental stuff. Now, and it's interesting because the advice you gave me, the exact opposite advice other people gave me. Okay, for instance, here in LA, you have young dentists hiring lifestyle coaches who are going to tell you you should highly advertise your lifestyle on your social media. And I'm shocked by these. Honestly, I'm not. I don't approve that. I'm not super impressed when famous dentists share about their new cars, their new houses, their new boat, etc. That's I wouldn't do that personally, but that's what those life. Oh, actually, those are called life advertising coaches, right? Life advertising coaches. So they will tell those young dentists to advertise their life successes, which include, house, boat, cars, travel, etc. So it's because they think that when patients see those successful dentists, they automatically link their success in those material things with their success in their profession, so they are more likely to visit those kind of dentists. And that's what those life coaches, those life advertising coaches suggest. So they basically suggest to add more personal stuff to make the person more, real, more likable, more, because of this personal aspect, you see. And
Yeah, but
so
yeah.
that is, it is a personal touch to your account. Now, for myself, I'm not into life advertising. I don't want to advertise my life on social media. However, instead of advertising my life, I decided to talk about things that don't necessarily belong to me, but could belong to everyone who is watching my account. And of course, I'm talking about my faith and God. And this is something you noticed. I like to post about that. And, you know, the reason I started to do that is I saw how successful was my account, and I thought, you know what? For me, this has been the biggest gift in my life is my faith. Yeah, this has been the biggest, I would say bigger than meeting my wife, bigger than my children is my faith. And if I can share something, if there is something I can share for free, no cost involved, it's my faith. And that's why I decided to include that also in my account, because I think it's like a lottery ticket that you can share with everybody, the winning ticket that you can share with everybody. And that's why you have these more personal touches in my accounts.
No, no, don't get me wrong. I really like how you present yourself.
Yeah.
You're getting more and more confident. You always have been a confident speaker, a
Mhm.
confident person talking to other people. But I followed you, and I noticed that you're getting more confident in your videos. Even if you do something like playing soccer with your children,
Yes.
it looks really more professional. So
Right.
it's practicing. It's not only becoming a better dentist, but
Right.
it's today also becoming a better social media professional,
Right.
using the tools in a correct way. So I
Hmm.
think you have a good mix, but
Right.
I would say I would do a little bit focus more on professional
Yes.
in this growing account, and leave the Facebook as your family
Right.
account. But
Hmm.
this is just my personal advice, so this is nothing that you have to have to take too serious.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Thank you
And
for
if
the
you
advice,
and
Alessandro. I really appreciate.
if you analyze I'm talking about dentists on Instagram.
Hmm.
So we have these so-called famous dentists. You know the names. We don't have to
Hmm.
talk them
Yes.
or tell them to everybody again. But all these so-called famous Instagram dentists, their
Hmm.
only focus is their patients. They
Yes,
don't
of course.
care.
Exactly.
They don't care about you, myself, any other dentist. They only want to get in touch with their clients.
E-
They want to
Exactly.
attract new patients. So you see only before and after, mixed with
Hmm.
some
Right.
lifestyle, so that they say, look, if you come to my office, and I make you a new smile, and then maybe you can also be in this new society, Hollywood, you name it,
Exactly.
whatever. So
Exactly.
this is
So absolutely. Now you are touching the core of the question, which is why do you have a social media account? What's your goal with the social media account, right? So as I said, the original goal of my, it's interesting because when there was no social media and I wanted to share really important moments of life with my family and friends in Switzerland, being living abroad, you have this challenge of stay connected with your friends and family on the other side of the world. And how was I doing that before social media? Well, sending emails, and a list of email and pictures via email, etc. And every time composing those emails. So for me, Facebook was this fantastic tool that finally I could control. I could control who is following me. So it at the beginning mainly my family and friends, and keep them. So my first goal with Facebook was really to keep my friend and family updated about how we were doing in America, etc. That was my goal number one. And it's only much later that I started to use Instagram. And my goal on Instagram was more professional. And basically, unlike those dentists you are talking about, of course, their Instagram is their advertisement for their office, and their target is the patients. I've never had patients as target in my accounts, right? So this is the first question those young people have to ask themselves, right? What's the goal of the social media account? And again, I see there are, for the people who are using their social media for their profession, then there are different targets, right? For dentists, the patient. For educators like me, it's the other dentists, right? And so this is the first step. Then what's the style you want to give to this account? And as you said, I really appreciate your suggestion not to mix private and professional. On the other side, there are other styles where young people advised me. They said, well, you should tell us a little bit about your daughter, about your family. You should, it makes you more human, etc. So you have all those styles of targeting the people you want to touch via your social media. And I think it's fine. Everybody has a different style of dressing, a different style of addressing people. It's okay. We have all these different, it's a mosaic, right?
Yeah.
So
No, but
that's
because
why,
yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
because you touched the right thing. The most important part that a lot of people are missing, and what you are doing perfectly, is getting in touch with your audience.
Right.
So not just post nice pictures and wait for likes and shares and whatever, but being interactive. So I see also on your account that you are talking to your audience. You give advice to young dentists out there. So you share.
Mm-hmm.
So we have one comment from one person. I like your Instagram, Dr. Magne, especially on making immediate dental sealing a gold standard. Your faith for better humanity. I'm Muslim and recognize faith is part of our personality. These are the important statements. And you are generating this discussion, and that's what I like about you, Pascal. You have a clear vision, you have a clear statement on a lot of topics, but you talk to people. You're not just talking by yourself and not listening. So I think the most important part, one important thing that a lot of people have forgotten, is to listen to other people. And I have to tell you, you are doing this. That's why I really appreciate talking to you, because you listen what others are saying, and then you give your comment, and then a discussion starts. So I think this is an important part on how to use social media wisely, is to get interaction. And if people are asking you, show us your family, or do this or do that, then it's up to you to decide, okay, I show my family. No, my family is private. I don't show my family. So I think this is the way to go. So let's jump into the next question, because it's an interesting thing, and we have talked about this a lot. what do you think about Facebook University and the impact on dental education? So I think this is a question I have to ask to
Yeah.
somebody who is
Uh,
a real teacher.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's a tough one, Alessandro, because honestly, you know, in that specific regard, Facebook or Instagram are real double-edged swords, right? Because it allows people who really have a strong background to support their teaching, to express themselves more, to be more available to more people. But at the same time, it opens the door to a whole bunch of people who don't have this background to support their teaching, to express themselves as if it was supported claims, right? And the third element, which is the third edge of the sword, is it opens the door to very angry people and fighting and all these things, right, that we see happening on the social media, because unfortunately there is no tone in your typing, there is no tone of voice, there is no, so there's a, we lose completely one dimension of social relationships that sometimes gets confused and people start to fight for no reasons. So I have very mixed feelings about the Facebook University phenomenon or Instagram University phenomenon. I think that it's all about wisdom, using it wisely, like you said, and respecting each other and not unleashing those. You know, now everybody frustrated can really unleash his anger on other people, and that's very nasty. That's very bad. I'm very sad when I see people, you know, insulting each other. And I have posts also. The other day I have a post from someone who looked very angry at me about a statement that I made. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember the person. And I said, hey, have you even tried that technique? Have you even tried that? I think it was marginal elevation or something like that. And the person didn't even answer, you know. And I was not going to attack anybody. I'm just sad when people use that as an opportunity just to unleash their frustrations.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. No, but it's interesting that the my question was also pointing a little bit in the direction of social media delivers a lot of unfiltered information.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
if
Yeah.
you lecture at the university or you lecture
Mhm.
on stage in
Yeah.
a conference,
Mhm.
you also show the evidence. You show some background. You're not just saying I'm using this burr and I'm using this
Exactly.
bonding and I tell you this is the best. And if you don't use that, you don't understand.
Right, right.
You base your information on some
Oh,
evidence.
that's what I call foundation, right? Background foundation. So that's actually, yeah, it's exactly what I told you. I said, on one side, you have people with that foundation, scientific experience. You know, it's always, you know, the four element I'm talking about, right? The experience, common sense, and science. Those are very important. And then the fourth element, of course, when you make a treatment proposal, it's the patient itself, right? The patient himself has to uh, kind of be taken into account financially, you know, their situation, etc. So, but now you can come up with lots of stuff without those foundational elements and be listened to based on, you know, how good is your social media account, how attractive are your pictures. And this is another thing, is the craziness about dental photography now, which is becoming a fashion show of dentistry. And so, is that right? I'm super excited that there are people having so much fun doing beautiful photography, and you are a person who is a strong, you know, proponent of photography, like I do, as a tool for our profession, right? So there is this other aspect of social media, which is now exposing your gallery as a, as a museum of photography shows. And again, you can make beautiful photography, beautiful makeup and stuff, and be extremely sophisticated, but still have an empty content.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
another danger of Facebook, right, or and Instagram. So again, it's always it's about wisely using those tools. I was the first one to be super excited with photography. I remember when we bought our first camera, when Dr. Belzer told us, the assistant, use your camera. It's a very important tool for work, right? We never do picture for show or for fashion. No, we do picture as a tool for work because we learn from our picture. If I document an entire composite resin restoration and I see the same composite restoration in 10 years and there is a defective margin, I can go back to my slide and say, oh my gosh, yes, there was something I did wrong here, and now it's showing up 10 years later. That's why we do photography. We do photography for teaching our students, for teaching continuing education, and that stuff. But we don't do photography for showing off. And I think
yeah.
it's
But I
been a
can,
little bit
I just have to intervene now,
interject. Yeah.
because I had an interesting live interview 2 weeks ago with Bruno Maia, a young dentist from
Uh-huh.
Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, why are South American dentists doing all this fancy artistic
Beautiful.
photography?
Yeah.
And the introduction was funny. He told me, I had not so many cases, so I was looking for a nice looking girl with a nice smile to take pictures, and he married this girl. And you know the reason why South American dentists are doing this photography? Because only since 2019 Brazilian dentists are allowed to show clinical pictures of their patients. So what they did to avoid this, or this was like a work
Uh-huh.
around to show clinical work, they put a
As a
strawberry in
fashion.
the mouth,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then it's not dental photography anymore. So then
It's
it's like fashion
uh-huh.
photography.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is the main
Yeah.
reason. This is the main reason why South American dentists,
Right.
and then the problem is they cannot go away of this. So
Uh-huh.
they love it, they like it, and so
No,
now
it's great. I mean, I love to see those pictures. Let's be honest; they are beautiful. They are amazing. They are fantastic. But let's not be distracted from the
yeah, no,
goal of our profession, right? Which is treating
this is
patients,
nine
and
nine.
for us,
Yeah,
educating other dentists, right?
yeah.
So this we have to be careful. And it's all about, the world, today's world, and it's the same about social media, is about being careful about distractions. Distraction, is the way, excuse me for the this spiritual element, but it's the way the enemy of God is trying to get hold of you. It's by distracting you from the essential things. And so I think it's very important that we remember, let's not be distracted. When social media becomes a distraction, when you wake up and the first thing you check on your phone is your social media, etc. When your social media is altering your life, when you spend so many hours on social media, then you have to ask yourself, is it healthy? Is it really helping me, or is it making me an addict? And that drives me to the other very important, and I'm going to ask you a question, Alessandro. If and it's going to be a very deep question, way beyond dentistry. What is the fuel of our life? What are we feeding on in life? What is the fuel? You put gasoline, uh, a good octane index in your car, right? For the car to work well, right? What do we fuel ourselves and
For
our
me,
soul to live?
it's passion.
But I think there's another element that you are missing. It's very important. Passion is you expressing passion. But here's something. I'm talking about the fuel, what's coming in, not what's going out, what's coming in you, what feeds you to stay alive.
For
Ah, that's a difficult one. But
yeah,
let
okay.
me tell you, when I tell you, I'm sure you will agree. It's
Tell
called
me.
it's called love. Love.
Yes.
We fuel on love, right? That's our fuel. And there's no other way to go ahead than to be loved. That's the essence of human being, is to be loved. And when someone is showing off beautiful things, beautiful, whatever, it's a house, a boat, a car, or a beautiful dental case, that what you are doing is look how good I am, how successful I am, and how you have to love me. I know it's a little bit extreme what I say, but that's why. And social media is exactly also addressing that need for love, for likes. This thumbs up button, this like button is feeding love. But of course, you and me know that this love coming through social media, this love coming from this, it's not a fulfilling love. That's the problem.
Because this is called recognition, and this is different than
Recognition.
that's it.
Exactly.
That's different to love.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Alessandro, one book, I'm not a super book reader. You would be surprised. I don't read many books. But one day I was given a book by Dr. Gary Chapman. Gary Chapman is a psychologist and a pastor, but he wrote a book that's nothing necessarily to do with the Bible or with faith, but it's called The Five Love Languages. Have you heard about that book, The Five Love Languages by
No.
Dr. Gary Chapman? So basically, he's addressing the essence of the problems in our society. And it is by saying, you need to put the right fuel for the right engine, right? If you put regular fuel in a diesel, it's not going to work. And if you put diesel in a regular gas car, it's not going to work. Same thing, you need the right index of octane, right? So he's basically saying, all of us, we need different types of love, right? And that's why he calls them the five love languages. So, for instance, someone will feel loved by certain type of love, which is a more physical love, or sometimes some other. Normally, men, especially, they like what you said, word of affirmation. If your wife come and tells you, you know what, you are an amazing dentist, you are an amazing photographer, what you do is amazing. It's like, oh my gosh, she loves me. And for other people, it's a different language. Maybe some people will be more sensitive to gifts. Gifts. A gift means a lot for some people, and for other people, a gift means nothing. Everybody is different. And so, what Dr. Gary Chapman is saying basically in his book is, a lot of divorce and separation and fight in life, it's not only about marriage, it's about relationship in general, and even relationships at work. It's not that people don't love each other, but they love each other with the wrong type of love. And the people end divorcing and being in love, but they divorced because they didn't understand that they were not feeding each other with the right love, right?
Yeah. But
And this is important.
yeah. But at the end, all problem we are facing in the world are communication problems.
Right?
So, and
Absolutely.
this is like an addition to what you have said
Yes.
about love and
Yeah.
talking to each other, understanding each other. So let's go to the next question.
Yes.
So I think, or I believe, that social media used correctly is a great tool for not only dental but also for dental professionals.
Yeah.
And what I have noticed, in the announcement, I was talking about Cirque du Soleil. I love the term Cirque du Soleil. I was the first time many years ago they came also to Switzerland. I had the chance to go twice to Las Vegas, and each time I was in Las Vegas, I watched all the Cirque du Soleil shows, because this is really going into a theater and sitting back and really dreaming.
It's a
So
complete experience. It's a
yes,
complete experience. Yeah.
and what I felt before the whole pandemic is that also the dental profession was too much going into Cirque du Soleil.
Mm-hmm,
So more and
mm-hmm.
more people on the stage showing off, showing too much, not sharing knowledge, not communicating with the audience, just looking for recognition, for love, but not
Yeah.
love in the not love in the wording you are mentioning, but love
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of really, hey, you're a super cool
Yes.
guy or you're a
Right.
super cool
Right.
girl.
Absolutely.
And you see these days during the pandemic, all these people have disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yeah.
this the protagonists of Cirque du Soleil, of the dental Cirque du Soleil, are not
Mm-hmm.
visible at this time. So what is your interpretation? So on one side you have taken advantage, so you have spread your word using these new channels.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Mm-hmm.
found new ways of communicating with your audience, with your fans, with your base, with your
Mm-hmm.
friends. And others have like lost the contact or not jumped on this new way of communication. So what are your thoughts about this?
Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's difficult, to speak for what happens to the others. Um, for me, I have to tell you, I had to be, like I said, I had to be careful. I was also at some moment a little bit in this stage where I said, you know what, I'm done with this. It's enough. So I think we all react differently to this new experience, right? I've seen it. It's really interesting. I agree with what you said. Some people really jumped in, and some people didn't jump in. And some of the people I knew who were already ahead of others in the topic of online education, some of them didn't jump in. And you know why? Because they were like, before the pandemic, they were unique. They were proposing something unique online that nobody else was using. And during the pandemic, everybody ending up doing what they were doing before. So they were not unique anymore. And that's how, what I understand, they decided, not to jump on that train, or at least not at the beginning, because they felt, you know what, now everybody is doing what I was doing before. I don't have this exclusive aspect of my education. So they just fell off the train, and then realized that, wait a minute, why are all those people taking advantage of it and not me? And they came back. I've seen this happening, right? So this is really interesting what happened during this pandemic, because again, uh, it opened the road to this amazing online market that was not used enough before. And those people who were like the pioneer, they were like suddenly becoming like everybody else. It's a little bit like, having a Macintosh computer. Initially it was, oh, he's working with a Mac. Now everybody has a Mac. So that's why I have a PC. I feel very special.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
So that's the
So
only explanation I have, Alessandro. I don't know if it's a good one.
yeah. So do you think the world will ever go back to normal? So normal, I
Uh-huh.
tell you the definition of
Yeah.
normal for all
Mm.
people I'm
Yeah.
talking to is, let's turn the clock back to
Mm-hmm.
January 2020.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about this? So I see
No,
in
no,
the
yeah,
whole the I see in big
right.
companies everywhere, they say no, now this is also like a split. This is a cut in the development
Mm.
of the world,
Yes. Yeah, I
and the
agree.
world will be different than it was before. Do you
Absolutely.
agree
I
on this?
agree. I agree 100%. It's a September 11 moment. It's been, you know, you and me know, before September 11 and after September 11, right? It was not the same anymore, and exactly the same with this pandemic. I think it is this kind of moment. We will not go back to what it was. And I think, again, this whole online social media thing. It's okay as long as we are wise, as long as we are balanced, and it's okay not to go back. But again, it will require a lot of wisdom, a lot of uh, um, yeah, control, if you want, of that. And I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. It's normal. And the thing is, you can ask yourself why those things happen. Why? I think that the pandemic and all what happened last year and still happening today, to me, is a very strong message. It's a very strong message about who we are, what we feed on. So ask yourself, what's your fuel in life? And then it's a strong message about where we are going, about, we don't have control on many things. Like you said, we were in January 2019 and suddenly our world was rocked. Suddenly we couldn't, we lost people. Suddenly we couldn't go to work. Suddenly we were locked. And nobody would have predicted that, right? And so it tells you how fragile the whole system is. And so for me, it made my faith even stronger. And I hope this is what's happening to everybody else who is listening. It's like, we don't have things under control. We don't control everything. And so who is in control? Ask yourself, who is in control? Of course, for me, the answer is very simple. God is in control. God is speaking. I'm not telling you, and please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying God wanted this pandemic. I'm not saying God wanted 9/11. No, 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 no. That was not God's plan. But things happen like that. And, there's always something good, something coming out of those horrible things. And, for me, it reminds me the story of Joseph in the Bible. He was sold as a slave in Egypt and ended up saving his entire people, the Jewish people, from a famine that was happening in the Middle East. So started with a horrible a thing and ended up with a huge good news for the Jewish people. So I cannot, again, those things happen. It's horrible, but what is more important is what we do with them. And as you asked me, are things going to be the same? It would be horrible if things would go back to be the same. That would mean we have not learned anything from this. That's what would be the meaning. So I hope things don't go back to what they were. Otherwise, it would be useless what happened.
Absolutely. No, we have to learn from everything that happens.
Exactly.
We have tried to learn, but I'm not sure if the humankind is ready to do this. But this would end up in too much philosophic or spiritual
yes,
discussion.
I know very well.
I'm also Catholic, and I believe that there is something up there. And a friend of mine told me a very good thing, because there is in the European Union, some people want to cancel in the Constitution. There's on the first page, in the name of God.
Yes.
And they
And
want
by the
to
way,
take
did
this,
you know?
they want to take this. They want to take this off and replace it by in the name of nature. And then some people were telling, okay, so we are going back in the old days where we believed in stones. So God, so that there's a God in everything, and there was this idea of separating or making God or Allah or whoever this is something that is not from this world, gave us freedom to do what we can do. We can do mistakes. We can live our life and learn from each other, share our love, share our passion, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, and do whatever we want. But I think, So
it's really interesting what you said, and because it's, you talk about nature, and to me the definition of nature is basically God's creation. nature is what, what man has not touched, right? It's the beauty of our mountains, of our trees, forests, rivers, all this beauty that is not man-made, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this
but you
is
can, yeah, yeah,
this
but this,
is
yeah, this is something different. But you cannot say that inside of all of a stone or for a mountain there's like a god and we pray to the
no,
mountain.
no, no,
So
no.
this would bring us back
Absolutely.
in
But
in
there is
in
God's hand in those things. There's
yeah,
God's hand.
absolutely.
And this is a little bit also about Christianity. Christians should be God's feet and hands on earth. We should be
Absolutely.
giving the love that He's giving us. And that will be a very important conclusion about the story of love is that the ultimate source of love is cannot be from down here. It's only from above, because you cannot give something that you have not received.
Yeah.
You cannot give something that you have not received. This is the equation. And the love we give is the love we receive. So
No,
where
but
is it coming
yeah,
from?
but I think the circle is closed by this, because social media, what we are doing, the idea of sharing
Mhm.
passion, sharing love, or
Right,
looking for all
right.
this is a form or a modern form of communication, a modern form of
Yes.
believing in something that might
Mhm.
be not from this world. So I think that's why I
So
wanted also to talk to you about these things,
yeah.
because you
Now
have
I
also this,
understand. Yes.
because you also have this the spiritual connection. I always
Yeah.
it's like
I
it's
hope.
like I no 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 because in the beginning, when I have to be honest with you, the first time I saw a lecture from you, and that in the last slide you were citing something from the Bible, my first thought was, what is this?
This guy is
Why
crazy.
this guy is crazy? Why I want to listen, I want to hear from
Uh,
Pascal Magne how he's bonding, how he's prepping.
mhm,
I
mhm.
don't want I don't want to hear about your personal
Right,
feelings, about your personal
right. Uh-huh.
beliefs or whatever. But I think it's a combination. So
Yes.
I have accepted that you share this part of your life with the community, because you're not doing it like a pastor who's trying
Mhm.
to convince people to to uh,
No,
to uh,
no.
to
Yes.
change their religion or
Yeah.
change whatever.
No.
So I think you find a
Absolutely.
good match, and this match, I think this is the advice for young colleagues.
Yes.
So
Yes. So
maybe
this is
maybe you can
important. Yeah.
summarize. So
Right,
maybe you
right,
found the
right,
link now
right.
from
Yes.
from the initial thing of Facebook University, Instagram,
Right, right.
sharing, posting, liking,
Yes. Yeah. I think,
to your vision of
exactly.
life.
I agree. So, for my young colleagues, I want to say this. Don't be caught in this culture that I see now, that is really disturbing. And the culture is fake it until you make it. That is toxic. Don't go there. Don't fake your success to create it if you want, right? And this is, I see this happening, Alessandro. I've seen some people telling me they will do that. They will apply this principle, fake it until I make it. And I think this is it's a very short sight. It's very short term thinking. So, um, to my young colleagues, I would like to say the biggest advice I can tell you is wisdom. Is wisdom, and be mindful before you share something on social media. Uh, uh, Pray for wisdom, and also, it's great to interact on social media. Be respectful. Don't unleash your angers on people on social media. Be respectful. Show some love, and let's look at the positive. Now our society is so full of negativity about everything that's happening geopolitically. We don't need more negativity. We need to help each other. We need to serve each other. So, use your social media not only to show off, but to serve, to help, to offer help, to share your discoveries, to be positive. We don't want more negativity. We have enough when we turn the news, right? We have enough negative stuff going on when we turn the news. So let's share the positivity. Let's be constructive, not destructive. The destructor is, we don't want to let him win. We want to really show some love. That's my advice. Wisdom. Think carefully before you share. Uh, who you could hurt, because again, we don't want that. We don't want social media to be circus, not Cirque du Soleil, but circus. We have enough circus in the news, right? We don't want more in social media. And yeah, be wise of your time. You don't want to be addicted. So think about, is social media having a serious influence on your lifestyle? Is social media taking time off that you should use for more, more essential things? Then you may become a little bit addicted to social media. Is social media the first thing you check in the morning when you open your phone? Then you have to ask yourself, maybe I crossed the line here. So again, Alessandro, I think it's all about balance in everything. Balance, wisdom. And I agree with you. For me, when you say passion, when I was asking you what is fueling us, yes, I agree. It's passion and love, actually. And I think that if you would ask me to describe what is perfection, perfection is passion and love together. That's what is perfection. And I'm sorry, Alessandro, please forgive me, but I'm going to finish with that. The most beautiful image, the most beautiful image of passion and love that I have seen in my life, Alessandro, is Christ dying on the cross for us. That's why we call it the Passion of Christ. You know that, right? The famous movie, The Passion of Christ. This is the God giving his son for us. That's passion and love.
One wonderful statement. No, because no, I really and I was serious when I was telling you that the first time I saw your last slide, I was a little bit confused. But I think over the years I found, or I realized, what your way of living is, what your visions, your goals are. And I think that's why a lot of people are also following you, following your advice. Pascal, if you say something, people really
That's a big responsibility.
yes, I want to tell
but
you, you
let
have a
me tell
really
you,
huge responsibility
yeah,
toward.
and Alessandro, let me tell you, and let me tell all the people who are listening now, I am as a sinner as anybody else. I am as imperfect as anybody else. Ask yourself how many times you lied in your life. Ask yourself how many times you stole in your life. Ask yourself, how many times you looked at things you shouldn't look, right? We are all guilty. We are all guilty of sin. And I am no less guilty than anybody else in this. And that is the essence of the message here. We are imperfect. And if God was judging us according to how perfect we are, we would all fail the test. We would all be failures in the eye of God. But the story is not finished. God is giving us redemption, forgiveness for this aspect of life, which is imperfection. He knows about that. And don't all those who are listening, don't look at what I'm saying as the ultimate truth. No. I'm a human being. I fail every day. I fail, as I said, and I need God's grace as much as anybody else needs God's grace in my life.
No, really a big thank you, Pascal, for sharing this. Some people might be a little bit confused. Other might be enlightened.
I
but
hope, I hope,
for
Alessandro.
me it's really important to share also this, and that's why the
Thank you.
combination of social
Thank
media
you.
and your thoughts of life are very
Absolutely.
close to each other, and your advice is valid not only for the normal life but also for the social life. So
Yeah, and you
Pascal, thank
cannot
you very
separate
much.
all those things, right, Alessandro? I don't want to be suffering of multiple personality syndrome. Who I am in my private life, I am in my social life, and I am in my professional life. I don't want to be three different persons. And I like to share what I think is important, right? And if I see something important in dentistry, I want to share it. And if I see something important in life that I know can help our colleagues, because dentistry, Alessandro, is a difficult profession. Being a dentist in an office is a lot of responsibilities, is a lot of stress to deal with staff, deal with the patients, deal with the organization. Being a dentist in your office is a small enterprise that you are CEO, you are a worker, you are everything in your office, and it's very, very challenging. Lots of dentists suffer, and so I think it's very important. I like a lot my friend and ex-student and mentee, Dr. Kyle Stanley. He speaks a lot about the dark side of dentistry, which is mental illness, which is depression, suicide, and those stuff. It's the first time we are speaking more openly about that. It's very important because I think lots of colleagues are suffering. And so when I see something that I have experienced in my life that can help them, I want to share that because it has to do with dentistry. It has to be with your mental health at work. And believe me, Alessandro, God can help with that part. I have experienced that direct,
Okay,
firsthand.
so
And by the way, I wanted to tell the people who are listening, the Nikon case here. I don't have a contract with Nikon. I never received a camera for
I
free from
I have the
Nikon,
same.
but exactly, I just noticed that I had the same. I bought it, in the mid 90s, sometime like that. And it's a beautiful case. And I said, I'm going to tease Alessandro and put it here too. So we have the
Super.
same
I will
case.
I will say I will send the video to Nikon and tell them that they have to send you a camera
Oh yeah,
for
of
that.
course, please.
Maybe we can
And
make a deal. I don't know. But
yeah.
the camera business, but you know that the camera business is not going very well because of the
No.
smartphone industry.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Um,
that's another
so,
one. Yeah.
but
Yeah,
this
I
is
know.
another story.
This
So
is another story. We
so Pascal, please continue sharing your knowledge, your passion, your love with all colleagues out there. And I know that you're doing this, and we are really grateful for
thank you.
having you in the dental community. And
Thank you.
this comes from my heart, Pascal. So,
Thank you,
and I think
Alessandro. Thank you.
there are you're not the most important or the best, because this does not exist, but you're one of the leaders, one of the down to earth persons in the dental business that I think are important, and we would love to have more Pascal Magnes out there, and we
Thank
hope
you.
that the new generation will create new Pascal Magnes, um, coming up, sharing their knowledge, bringing not only dentistry but also humanity
Mm,
to the next
absolutely.
level, or just keep us live on this
Yes.
planet. So this
Yeah.
is my hope for the
Yeah.
future.
Thank
And
you.
again,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much for
Thank
sharing
you,
your
Alessandro,
passion.
for inviting me, and I'm really touched, and I really appreciate that you also allow me to share a little bit more than just dentistry, and I really appreciate your openness also, and it's fantastic to have you as a colleague, a friend, a great editor in chief of a journal, and God bless you a lot and your family and all your endeavors. Really, you will
So
be in my
thank you,
prayers.
thank you very much. Thank you. And let's finish with this. A big thank you, a big hello to everybody out there from Europe to America, to the world, to everybody, to the countries where now people are suffering. So we are really hoping the
Absolutely.
best, that this bad
Yes.
times will be over soon. We have to live with this, I
Mhm.
think, for a long time, but we will make it. I'm sure that we will make
Yes.
it.
There is hope. There is hope.
Absolutely,
Don't let
absolutely. So
don't
because
let
I'm a
yourself
big
believe
Star
there is
Wars
no hope.
fan. You know that Panos Batsos is also a big Star Wars fan. So
Oh
or
yeah.
man, so we believe in the Force.
The force.
Uh,
Absolutely. The
okay.
force.
So
Thank you, Alessandro.
merci beaucoup.
De rien, Alessandro. Que
À
Dieu te
bientôt,
bénisse. Merci à
à
toi. À
bientôt.
bientôt. Bye, everybody. Love you.